But now let's talk about the private sector. The Ghana Union of Traders this afternoon charging its members to resist any form of harassment and also intimidation from officers of the Ghana Revenue Authority. The union has, amongst other things, accused the Ghana Revenue Authority of intercepting their cargoes and transits from Accra to other parts of the country on allegations of under-declaration of some of their goods, a situation they say is affecting their businesses. President of the Ghana Union of Traders, Dr. Joseph Obeng, has been addressing a press briefing today.
It has come to our notice with great concern about the activities of the Ghana Revenue Authority, which has formed various task forces that rampantly intercept released cargoes after the cargoes have passed through all clearing processes and procedures at the port in the name of enforcing tax compliance, as if they don't even trust their own systems of clearance at the port. This happens more to the cargoes going to the Ashanti region. It could be recalled that a few days ago, our Ashanti region branch issued a press conference on this constant harassment and intimidation of traders in the region by GRA officers after their cargoes have passed through the due clearing processes at the port of Tema and released them to them. The GRA cannot assign any cogent reason for the harassment of the traders in the Ashanti region, apart from their usual flimsy explanation that Ashanti region contributes only about 12% to the national revenue. They also claim that they do not understand why goods in Ashanti region are cheaper than those in Greater Accra region, failing to recognize the simple fact that purchasing power and demand for goods and services in Accra are higher than any part of the country. Furthermore, the 12% tax contribution from Ashanti commensurate with the business activities in that region, as most of the corporate entities with branches in Ashanti and other regions pay their taxes in the national capital.
Unfortunately, we've been joined now by Dr. Obeng, who's joining us via Zoom. Thank you, Doc, for speaking to us. Why is it strange for GRA and customs to intercept goods? After all, we know that this is part of their routine activities. It's part of their mandate, isn't it? They're simply doing their job, ensuring that there's compliance. Why do you have a challenge with that as GUTA?
Yeah, when they are doing occasional checkups, that is acceptable. Maybe when you are operating on tip-offs. But when it becomes you do it at rampant, then it's not correct. So random checking, yes. But this is what they do by the day. And it is not acceptable, and we cannot accept it. Because, you know, the goods that we import, when we bring it at the Tema port, they are in detention. You know that when we bring goods at the Tema port, it is detained until they have scrutinized it and verify all documentation before handing us with the duties that we pay. We do not examine the goods ourselves. The goods that are being in detention at the Tema port are in the hands of well-trained professionals, customs officers who do that. And after they have been relieved and released from this detention and come out of the Tema port, then you detain it again. What sense does it make? Does it make sense to you?
Doc, I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering if you've been engaging GRA on all of these concerns ever since, and
we've been talking ever since. Our brothers and sisters in Kumasi have been crying. In fact, Kumasi businesses is collapsing. Most of them are relocating to Accra because there's no fairness in this. That one region should be targeted, and all this thing is going. Because we've contacted GRA on this issue. With the Commissioner of Customs himself, we've made a program, a very big program where all stakeholders including all GRA officials, including BNI, including Ministry of Trade, and all Ministry of Finance and all that in Kumasi, now what they call the Lancet Hotel, that's Golden Tilly. It was a big, and we all converged in this hotel and talk about why they should harass or detain goods that have already been released by their own customs. So all that we are saying is that we do not have any problem at all for customs to do all their due diligences at the port when our goods are detained with them. They scrutinize it, and whatever amount that they want us to pay, they let us pay. But when goods leave the port of Tema, and then they come and detain us again, that is uncalled for. That is not a civilization. You wouldn't see this in any civilized country.
Okay, there are lots of people. There are lots of people. Yeah, there are lots of people watching us now, Doc, who may not be in the industry, the same industry you find yourself, so they are not able to picture what's happening. Give us a sense of how rampant this is. How often you have, the snap checks and people stopping or intercepting your cargoes.
They do it by the day. They do it by the day, and the Kumasi people have been crying. The Kumasi people sometimes haven't paid their legitimate duty at the port. Then their own officials also intercept the goods and say that what you paid to our officers at the port is not correct. But how can they do this to us? And they make us as scapegoats and play us as puppets. This is not fair. In a free country like Ghana, we are not in a police state. How can't we do our business in freedom? Especially when you have all the opportunity to access our goods at the port. The goods sometimes are detained at the port as long as 2 weeks for you to do all your verification and all that. So when it comes out, immediately it comes out and you say that whatever has gone on in the port, inside the port is not correct. Then, of course, we have a problem. If you want to revamp the port, if you think that your own system is not working, then the blame shouldn't come to me. Then you have to revamp your port or your clearance system.
Okay. The argument is that within the window of the law, there's possibility of back taxing you. I don't know if I'm using the terminology right. Could that not be maybe that legal option that you find GRA officials taking advantage of?
No, but it means that then the wrongs that you are doing at the port is more than the rights. If you do that, then it does not put GRA in the good light that we are doing the right thing. You do this randomly or occasionally when you think that something has gone wrong. But if about 80%, 90%, you still have to do this, then there's something obviously wrong with your clearing system. That one, will you have to put the blame on the innocent trader? We do not examine ourselves. So in any, wherever you see it, it is not in good light, even for the image of GRA, that they should be seen, that they trust their own institution, that they should be seen, that they have efficient systems in place, that they should be seen, that we are legitimate customers of them, and that they are serving, they are giving us service, rather than putting us in the light as a common criminals and all that, because we do not examine ourselves. It is not fair. So goods that have taken their time, whenever we bring goods at the port, they are in detention. And if they are in the detention in the hands of customs. So it should not be said that goods that we have detained for scrutiny and all that comes out and you detain it again. We are not going to accept.
Okay, what will be the next line of action? And now that you've raised the concern, you have told us also that on the sidelines you've tried reaching out to GRA, you've engaged the commissioner, and yet the officers on the ground continue to do this. So what will be the next line of action then?
They are very much aware of this. These complaints have come, especially the customs head in Kumasi. We've engaged her so many times. She's a lady. And we have done all these things. We have meeting with commissioner. We've done all these things. And what they say normally is that the tax that comes from the region is less. if 12% is coming from our Ashanti region, it commensurates with what activities there. Kumasi is only dwelling on trading. And then the goods that they bring in Kumasi, their custom charges at the port does not discriminate. So when they clear container for Kumasi people, it has not got different value. Does it? You clear it, and it's the same values that you give to the people of Accra, Tema, and elsewhere. So how can you say that Kumasi people are the one to blame and all that? There's nothing to understand about this. And so we are not saying that they do not do some of these checks. But when it becomes so rampant, then of course, it's indictment on their own activity at the port. It's indictment the fact that there's inefficient efficiency in the port. But I don't think that they are indicting their own system. So if the system is not correct for you, and what is going wrong? What is wrong? Who is doing the wrong?
Dr. Irving,
is it the customs that is doing their work at the port, or is it the trader who is clearing his goods? Who made the wrong? Let's find that and then put this thing in proper perspective. We do not have any problem that our goods are scrutinized to the core. And then let us pay whatever amount that we want us to pay. It's better.
Yeah, I was about asking you that question. That I mean, it's as though you're holding, the brief for simply your members, believing their side of the story, and completely neglecting what it is that the Ghana Revenue Authority may also have to say about the entire process.
So all the clearance of goods that is meant for Kumasi are not well documented or what?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you're simply believing, entirely believing the story of your members.
Let's put it in this perspective.
Okay.
That is there discrimination at the port in the first place? That when they clear goods, the values they give to the people in the Ashanti region and beyond. Don't think that it's only for the Kumasi people, because some of them transport their goods through that corridor to Tsunami, to Tamale, and all these places, and they are all suffering this fate. It is not fair. And this is something that we've talked about it all this time. So if they tell us, then whatever goods from Kumasi come, they should subject it to scrutiny at the port. And they do whatever they want to do, and when they clear it, they don't have to offload the goods, where they will suffer breakages. Where some of the goods are perishable, they have to suffer the time. Because trade facilitation is time, ease, and cost of doing business. So when you impede in any of this, you are disturbing the growth of business in that region. And so that aside, we also talk about the VAT invigilation, where officials have been going to our members' shop and all that. We've always said that the structure of the VAT is not correct. It's not uniform, and it doesn't exist anywhere in the world. Where we have a VAT system that is in three forms: that of the flat rate, that of the standard rate, and those who are not captured to pay the VAT itself. All of it compounded in one space of trading. And how fair is it? And there's no compulsion on the part, because don't forget that it's a consumption tax. It's not for the people to pay. All the people in Kumasi, all the people in Accra, Mankasim, Tamale, all the traders in the informal space are using their own fiscal money to go and pay VAT because they don't want to be harassed. The consumer is not even ready to accept the VAT charges, because of these disparities that I'm talking about. Because in the market, GRA have also legitimized those people who do not have to collect the VAT. And the consumer has option to buy from wherever he wants. And then the consumer uses the discretion to buy from where the VAT is not being charged. So are you saying that you are punishing those people who are made to register for VAT? Is that what they are trying to say? That's why we are saying that we are not going to allow ourselves to be victimized against by officialdom unless they have been able to restructure the VAT system to ensure conformity, to ensure uniformity, to ensure that it brings compliance. If they do not do that, then those people who have registered into the VAT are necessarily being punished and being taken as scapegoats.
All right.
So let's make the structure well, bring fairness, because we are all trading and we are in the same space. And then one is charging 22% VAT, another is charging 4% VAT, and yet another is not charging at all. And it's all legal in the same space. Does it happen in UK? When you go to Dubai, if it is 5%, it's across the board, and everybody is charging, and it's also compulsory for the consumer. This is a consumption tax, and there's no policy to that bring compulsion on the part of the consuming public to receive VAT invoice. What system is this? And then you go and punish people unnecessarily. And this is what we say we are not going to allow and accept that. We won't do that. And we have told our members to resist. And that if it persists, then of course we know what to do. We have our members. It's not that we don't want to pay taxes, but we want to pay tax where it is fair. We want to pay tax that will ensure that government has its worth. We want to pay tax where our businesses are not collapsed, because taxes are not structured to destroy businesses. That's not how taxes are structured. So the VAT should be restructured, made simplified, made uniform, and then made affordable, so that compliance will be so high. When we say that tax to GDP in the sub-region, ours is the lowest, it is true, because the other regions, their tax levels are low, and so compliance is high. Ours, we are being surprised with high taxes. And so it does not ensure compliance. The key to having revenue, to achieve your revenue target, is compliance. They are never thinking about compliance. All that they are thinking is to lump up taxes upon taxes on the same few people who otherwise have been captured, or who could have even grown, because they have captured them into the system. And the same people who they put these taxes and who they intimidate, embarrass, and then suppress them and suppress their growth. How are you going to help us achieve a tax to GDP of 80 when you are suppressing
I can imagine the frustration from the business community. Dr. Obeng, grateful for your time. We'll definitely get through to the Ghana Revenue Authority and to get their response as well. We've tried that, not successful as of now, but we'll bring you reactions in our subsequent bulletins.